Hey everyone, welcome back to Introduction to the Solar System, Part 2. Up next, we have Jupiter, which is the largest planet in the solar system, and it's a gas giant, meaning that it does not have a solid surface. It's marked by its striped visual appearance. Its orbital period is 12 years, which is very long, and it is over 300 times as heavy as Earth, with a mass of 1.9 times 10 to the 27th. Its diameter is almost 140,000 kilometers, which is massive, and its surface temperature is negative 148 degrees Celsius. In Jupiter's core, there is believed to be a layer of ocean, or a layer or an ocean of metallic hydrogen. Due to the very high pressure on Jupiter, hydrogen condenses into a liquid metal, similar to what Mercury does on Earth. Like on Earth, global winds are produced to the spin and the result of the Coriolis effect, where the air is deflected off its course. However, because Jupiter's day is much faster than Earth, it produces many more global winds that create striations and colors in the outer atmosphere. This is what gives Jupiter its complex coloration.
Yeah, and these complex striations and colors are what form like the red dot that marks Jupiter's appearance. It's essentially a large storm.
Mhm.
All right, now moving on to Saturn. It's the sixth planet from the sun. It's a gas giant like Jupiter, and it's known for its beautiful rings. I don't know if they're beautiful, but they're large. And its orbital period is very long, 29 and a half years, which means, yeah, it's very long. Anyway, moving on. The mass is around 95 times that of Earth, making it also very massive. And the diameter is 116,460 kilometers, which is a large distance. The surface temperature is negative 178 degrees Celsius, which is um, somewhat chilly, I guess. Some fun facts about Saturn. It is the furthest planet from the Earth that is visible to the naked eye. One of Saturn's moons, Titan, is larger than the planet Mercury, and it additionally is the only satellite in the solar system, moon in the solar system, to have a significant atmosphere. Due to its unique nature, it has been subject to many scientific investigations and sci-fi books, movies, and stories. And the landscape of Titan is eerily similar to Earth, with its equatorial regions marked by sand dunes and a thick layer of ice coating the moon. However, what's different is that these sand dunes and ice are um, diluted with methane and other toxic chemicals to humans. Furthermore, Saturn has a very low density, so much so that if you had enough water and you put Saturn in it, it would float. So,
Up next is Uranus, and Uranus is the least explored planet in the solar system, although its atmosphere is known to contain ices, which is why it's called an ice giant. Its orbital period is a staggering 84 years. It's just shy of 15 times the mass of Earth at 8.68 times 10 to the 25th kilograms, and its diameter is 50,000 kilometers. Surface temperature is negative 195 degrees Celsius, which is a little on the chilly side as well. Uranus was discovered by British astronomer William Herschel, who accidentally became the first person in recorded history to discover a planet in 1781. He wanted to name the planet Georgium Sidus in honor of King George III, but the name didn't stick and they chose Uranus, a much better name. However, he did get a lifetime pension for being the king from the king for trying to name it after him.
next up in our is our second ice giant, Neptune, which astronomers discovered after they realized its gravitational pull was deflecting Uranus off its projected course. The orbital period is 165 years, and the mass is 1 times 10 to the 26 kilograms. Don't know what that is in relation to Earth because I didn't put it on the slide. And the diameter is around 50,000 kilometers. And the surface temperature is approximately negative 200 degrees Celsius. So it's actually very similar to Uranus. There are no fun facts about this one, apparently, because it's a very boring planet outside of the fact that it's named after Neptune. So I wouldn't research this planet if I were you. So moving on to the best planet.
Pluto. Pluto's a dwarf planet, and it's a dwarf planet because it has not cleared the celestial area around its orbit, and that's one of the characteristics of a dwarf planet. Its orbit is 248 years, so it doesn't really get to the spaces in its orbit very often. It is very small compared to Earth, just 0.2% the size of Earth. Diameter is less than 2,500 kilometers. Again, super small. And its temperature is negative 226 to negative 240 degrees Celsius. It was discovered by a farm boy from Kansas, although it did get demoted to a dwarf planet in 2006.
Yes, and as Evan said, one of the characteristics of a dwarf planet is it hasn't cleared its orbit. Additionally, Pluto does orbit at a strange plane. It's not at the same plane of orbit or orbital plane as the other planets. It's ecliptic and it doesn't really center around the sun. And it takes a long time and it's just strange, which also contributed to its demotion. Sorry, Pluto. All right, so the Kuiper Belt in the Oort cloud. The Kuiper Belt is a donut-shaped disk at the outskirts of our solar system. It contains planetesimals, which are the remnants of possible planets that didn't form. And it's mostly dust, like the remnants of protoplanetary disks that formed the planets during the beginning of our solar system. And this orbits beyond the outer planets. And then you have the Oort cloud, which is even farther outside the Kuiper Belt. And it's essentially a reservoir of comets. And it's named after an astronomer who had the last name Oort. It's a gigantic cloud, essentially, beyond the Kuiper Belt. And Halley's Comet is thought to have originated there. So really, these are just reservoirs of dust and gas that sit outside our solar system. And so that is the end of our introduction to the solar system presentation. So thank you for watching.